Today on the LA Food Podcast, an episode so carb heavy I sincerely hope you're not A, diabetic, or B, Al Roker. And yes, I just googled celebrities who hate carbs. Guest co-hosting the show is fellow podcaster and pizza shop owner Alex Koons of Hot Tongue Pizza in Silver Lake. I recently had the pleasure of being featured on Alex's new show, Fast Casual, and it got me thinking, man, this guy's really good and should co-host an episode with me. So we made it happen. We get to know him a little bit before diving into recent eats at Koons, Rosaruma, Bar 109, and more. And on Chef's Kiss Big Miss, there's a James Beardbait Bill Esparza article in the New York Times, a Baltimore beer-based cocktail taking the nation by storm, a brand new sports bar coming to the former Button Mash location, and a San Francisco restaurant crowdfunding its opening via pasta. In part 2, we're joined by force of nature Lawrence Longo of Prince Street Pizza, Herb's Burgers, Bar Next Door, and Henry's Secret Ice Cream fame, among other things. We get into how a hockey-playing Canadian became one of our city's most ambitious restaurateurs, and how he's managed to turn a gritty Nolita pizza hole in the wall into one of the fastest-growing pizza chains in the United States. A reminder that the LA Food Podcast is part of the Acquired Taste Media family. Be sure to listen to our sister podcast, Taqueando with Bill Esparza. This week, Bill spoke with Chef Jonathan Zaragoza out of Chicago, also known as Goat Boy International on TikTok and Instagram. It's a fascinating conversation that really centers around salsas and the rules or lack thereof around them. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Servodio, and without further ado, it's time to chow down. Dear listener, big announcement. Bill Esparza of the Acquired Taste Media family is teaming up with Level 8 in downtown LA on something he's wanted to do for years. It's called Taqueando After Dark. 2 nights of tacos and street food inspired by the streets of Mexico. August 27th and 28th, 6 p.m. till late. On the 27th, Bill's got Tomas Gastelum and Jose Luis Inostroza coming up from Mira Fireside in the Valle de Guadalupe. The 28th, Rufo Ibarra from Oryx in Tijuana, and on the LA side, some of his favorite people, including Chef Ray Garcia, Eloy Aluri from Tacos Royale, Francisco Leal from Mariscos Chiltepin, the Tijuanazo crew, and Tacos La Correta, taqueros who built their names one taco at a time, and a lot of former Taqueando guests, if I say so myself. There'll be cocktails from the sponsor Dobel Tequila, DJs, a ton of really good food, and thanks to our friends at the Baja California Tourism Board, every ticket gets you entered to win a trip to Baja. Part of the proceeds go to Cielo, an indigenous women-led nonprofit here in LA. Each night's a separate ticket, so if you want both, grab 2. You'll find them on Eventbrite, the Level 8 website, or the link in Bill's bio. Come hang out. Vamos a taquear! Welcoming back to the LA Food Podcast. Actually, it's weird. We did a crossover episode one time, but this is actually his first time properly on the LA Food Podcast.
Yes.
And he happens to be the first ever guest co-host who's also an actual restaurateur. It's Alex Koons of Hot Tongue Pizza. Alex, how you doing today, buddy?
I am doing great. I'm glad that you are on the technical side this time. I don't have to do any work.
No.
I feel like we have done this before because we have. But
at this exact same spot.
That's right. I'm excited to do it again. I think it was 2023. So
was it?
I think so.
I think it was 24.
Okay, well, then it was 24.
I think.
Yeah.
For the people listening and not watching this, because there's actually nowhere to watch this podcast.
No one watches this.
Where are we?
We're at Hot Tongue Pizza. We're in the foyer area.
Hell yeah. Beautiful Hot Tongue Pizza, where, by the way, we're having our Pizza Run Club this Saturday.
That's right.
It is the destination point. I will tell you, and I'm not saying this to blow smoke up your ass, this was the easiest ticket sale Pizza Run Club I've had so far. Assorteds to Hot Tongue.
Yeah, it was probably all assorteds.
Yeah. Always the modesty. Hey, icebreaker question for you. A lot of people don't realize this about you.
Yeah.
But you're actually a huge Bravo head.
Yes, I am.
Which Bravo character do you most identify with and why?
Ooh, that is a good question. Man, that was not on the agenda, dude.
No, that's why.
That's not on the agenda, dude.
I want your candid response.
Oh, man. You know, man, that might be one of the toughest questions.
Dude, I stumped him. We're not even a minute and 40 seconds into this.
You know,
thing.
like, honestly, like, the first name that popped in my head was Dorinda.
So that's OG Real Housewives of New York for you
Yes.
people who are not as familiar. And why Dorinda?
Dorinda gets a little, when she gets sauced up,
Yeah.
she starts saying stuff. And I have been guilty of that. She also can be like a really good time or like a scary time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just like always liked her vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed like that version of the Housewives of New York.
Yeah. This new version is kind of a dud, if you ask me.
Yeah, it doesn't hit like the other one would.
Yeah.
But I have to say, like, a little bit of Teresa and Dorit.
Have you ever flipped over a table?
No, and I'm not like really like, but I'm like really into New Jersey culture because
Yeah.
of my wife. And that was also like a great franchise. And then I say Dorit, and like it's Housewives. That's like mainly what's going on in our house. If you haven't gotten that, but I just fuck with like where Dorit started and where she is now.
Yeah.
You know, like the cigarette thing was iconic. This last season was kind of weak, but
I missed this last season. I'm not going to lie.
you didn't miss much.
Wow.
It was just like a lot of arguing.
Well, that's kind of what they do, though.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
kind of the bread and butter.
Yeah.
Kind of like, a lot of food podcasts out here.
100%.
Well, Alex, let's get to know you a little bit before we jump into our regular agenda that we usually have with our co-hosts. So for people who don't know your background, you're not from LA, is that right?
No, I was born and raised in Seattle.
Wow.
Yes.
PNW.
That's right. Pacific Northwest, baby.
What brought you to LA?
I came out here for music school to be an audio engineer.
Hell yeah.
When I was 20.
And then you put that to good use in podcasting later on.
Yeah, 100%. Except, yes, I had nothing to do with the audio or visual, but yes. Yes.
So what was your first job in pizza?
I worked up the street at Tomato Pie in 2007 or 2008 as a pizza delivery driver. I got hired there.
So you've literally done every job in a pizza shop.
Yeah, I started out as a delivery driver and worked my way up into ownership. As Drake says, I started from the bottom and now I'm here.
Wow. I mean, I say this in jest, but it's actually inspirational. What was your favorite memory or kind of the thing that people don't realize about delivering pizzas? Like, what's the hardest part about it?
I don't know if there's like a hard part about, I mean, obviously, like back then I had a Razor phone and a Thomas guide. And I think that like you really had to like get to know the neighborhood. And like I know Silver Lake pretty well, but like you knew it like the back of your hand. Like we're gonna go through Cove, or like I'm gonna go up Ewing, or like we're gonna hit Hidalgo, or like or Baxter. Like I'm going up Baxter, it's gonna fucking kill my transmission, but like
that's the super steep one.
Yeah,
right?
like or you just drop down into Echo Park, we're gonna miss all that Glendale traffic. So it was kind of like getting the lay of the land. But like what I miss most about delivery is like, especially now as a restaurant owner, is like that arm of the business that you had control of, where you could you still had control of the money, the funds, and like the relationship between the delivery driver, your product, and then the people. Like you would go see regulars that you'd never come into the shop, but like you still had that relationship through your drivers.
Yeah.
Like people would give us Christmas presents, and like all of that is gone. And that's sad to me, because like at the beginning, that's where I got my start in this business.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole part that is just the service end of it is gone. Like the job doesn't really exist because no one uses like first party delivery.
It just doesn't make sense economically anymore.
No, because like Amazon, you get anything to your house in 7 hours from anywhere. And it's the same thing with like an Uber Eats or a DoorDash.
I know.
It's kind of depressing, but also like I use these things too. So convenience is the thing that's being sold, and sometimes is the most important to people.
When did you get really serious about dough? When did you start doing that?
I think the natural progression for like a pizza maker is to kind of find themselves really dipping their toes or their head first into dough making.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the hardest part about making a good pizza. If you don't make good dough, then like really like what are you doing? Everyone's using the same tomatoes.
Yeah.
Everyone has grande cheese or Saputo or Galbani, whatever it is. And like, it's just all the same shit on top of like, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
And so it's also like the thing that you can nerd out the most on. And don't get me wrong, like you can nerd out on sauce. You can taste 1,000 different tomatoes and like, but I feel like the base of pizza is bread. So it's important to like really dive deep into that.
Yeah.
But it was probably like around 2015, 2016. A lot of the pizza restaurants that I had worked in, like they're just measuring things from like, put it up to this line, do a tablespoon of salt, tablespoon of yeast, whatever it is, and then like mix for 7 minutes.
Because baking, and you kind of like have this thing where baking is exact, so you got to do it the same way every time. Is that why they just don't want to?
I think a lot of like old school pizza shops, like it was just kind of like the way you made pizza. Like there was no scales, there was no like baker percentages, there was like, it was like, that's what I'm saying. There's no time or temperature. It's like, fill it up to this line, fill it, use this cup. And like, you wonder why like it wasn't very consistent all the time, because like somebody's 1 cup of whatever is different to the next.
Yeah.
And so I think like getting into like doing Polish or a biga or sourdough, like it was also like really exciting, and like you want to progress in your craft.
Yeah.
And I guess like experimenting and understanding why these things do what they do is really important. And I think you could ask 90% of pizza makers probably don't know what the fuck they're doing with dough. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like Chadwick from Two Doughs, who's like a fucking scientist when it like he can tell you about pH levels and like what's going on in his dough. I'm more of like a by feel kind of baker.
Yeah.
But I understand like X, Y, and Z. And I think that's really important, because I think a lot of people still don't understand their dough process.
Well, what I really appreciate is I feel like your dough just keeps getting better. And like, I remember 2024, I came in and I tried the bar pie for the first time.
Yeah.
And I also had your slice, and I'd had your slice before. I had it since then. And I remember that slice, and I just had your slice recently again. I've had it actually several times this year, because our regular co-host, Father Saul, for apparently anytime he has a nuptial event, he orders hot tongue, whether it's his wedding or it's his engagement party.
Yes.
So I had it at both of those events. Plus, I came back and reviewed your pizza a couple weeks ago, and I just noticed like a big change in your slice dough.
Yeah.
So what functionally changed?
I think for me as a business owner and a cook and all these things, like progressing is the main thing, and not staying comfortable, and like something can always get better. And so like our dough process, or like how we cook things, like it's always changing. And so it's always getting better, which is also kind of frustrating probably sometimes for the staff when things change, bi-weekly.
Yeah.
And it's also a little frustrating because it's like, oh man, I wish I would have been doing this last week. It's like, now it's at the best it's ever been. But I think that that's also like, that's a cool place to be, where like it's just getting better.
Yeah.
And I think we'll continue to do that. With the dough specifically, like we've changed grains a lot. I think that like people decide where they're going to put their money, and like whether that's marketing or their build out or the cheese that they're getting from Italy. For us, I was like, I really love this flour from Washington, because it's kind of an ode to like growing up in the Pacific Northwest. And it's also just like beautiful flour. And it's a flour company called Karen Springs. And we were supplementing some of that flour with cheaper flour, still good flour, but like a bag of Karen Springs is almost $50. A regular bag of flour that somebody's using in their pizzeria is probably $20.
Yeah.
So like for us to go full head first into that, we had to make a lot of changes. And like we made that change back in like May, and it's been incredible. Like it's a kind of a bag of flour where you open it up and you smell it, and it smells like fresh bread. It feels warm. Like it's a harder flour to use, but like it bakes differently, it feels differently. And I think we're very proud to be 100% using this thing.
Yeah.
And like, that's the hill that we're willing to die on, not to say like that makes it the best, but I think that has been like a natural progression
For sure.
to be using sustainable grain, their practices. It's not just like, it's the whole company as a whole. It makes us feel really good about and proud of our product.
Yeah. I just remember like when I had it most recently, And I know you said everybody uses the same tomatoes, but I feel like people actually fuck with their tomatoes too much
Yeah.
to the point where like I'm tasting all these other ingredients that are being put in there to maybe make their quote unquote sauce unique or something like that. When I tasted your pizza, it tasted just like pure, unadulterated, really good tomato
Yeah.
on excellent bread. And it reminded me, even though I was eating something that looked like a New York slice,
Yeah.
it reminded me of eating pizza in Rome, which to me is like the highest compliment I can pay somebody because
Yeah.
that's where I grew up eating pizza and it's the pizza that I love, right?
Yeah.
And actually, you talking about the flour makes sense to me because I think that that is actually probably what distinguishes a lot of Italian pizza in Italy
Yeah.
from pizza here
For
is
sure.
the quality of the flour.
Yeah, they're not using bleached and bromated flour, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, and like the whole wheat that we have, and like the fact that it's like it's like the whole grain, and they're not like sifting through it, has a lot of nutritional value too. And we do use sourdough. We're not like sitting out here like, I mean, because everyone is pushing sourdough now, it almost seems just like a fucking buzzword or a trend.
Like synergy. It's
Yeah.
the synergy of pizza.
Yeah, but I mean, we're stoked on it, and it's a California tomato, like salt, oil, a little oregano, and like
Yeah.
that's don't mess with your tomatoes. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't need a bunch of like dry spices.
And that's what I'm feeling. So, people have probably already gathered this just by hearing you talk about your pizza, but you seem like someone who is always striving to do more and more.
Yeah.
And that doesn't stop at pizza. People who are familiar with you know that for a couple years, 2 years, 3 years,
For what?
you ran a really successful podcast.
It started it was 4 years.
4 years.
It took 6 months to put out the first 10 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So 4 years you ran Pie to Pie. Why did you start a podcast when you are already a restaurateur, which is notoriously not a chill job?
Well, so I do consulting too, and it was going to be a funnel to help that.
Huh.
But really, it was also a great excuse to use a camera and microphones to go and talk to people, mostly in Los Angeles at the beginning, and make those connections, because community was something that I had missed. When my first restaurant as a business owner, I felt very lonely. I felt very scared. I felt very sad at times, and there wasn't really a pizza community. Like there was Zach and Salman. Zach from Prime, Salman from Pizzanista. I had worked for Garrett at Tomato Pie. There was like Vito's. There wasn't like a big pizza community, but I wanted a community. I just didn't have a lot of friends that I could like cry on their shoulder.
Yeah.
And that was really important. And so like the podcast at the beginning really helped like build that and make those connections. And I think like accidentally that brought a lot of other pizza makers together as well in Los Angeles. And that was really cool to see, because I think building that community, like you can see it now. There's other people that have championed it too, but those were the two main reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Community and a business reason.
Yeah.
as well.
And a business reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you do that for 4 years. The podcast ended earlier this year, I believe.
It ended May. Yeah, May.
Okay. And now you're started a new media endeavor, this show that you're putting out on YouTube called Fast Casual.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So the progression of that was when you sit down in a podcast, this isn't natural. You don't like, it's not natural to have an authentic conversation with a camera in your face and two microphones. It doesn't lend itself to like maybe the best conversation. I think you're really great at conversation, and I feel natural because I've been like in this before.
We both put the reps in at this point where we can sound pretty natural.
Yeah. Like when I first started my first 10 episodes, it was weird. Like you're talking to the camera, and like, but what I didn't like is like some guests you have to warm up to, or like some guests just like aren't good in this kind of situation. But Fast Casual was going to lend itself to, it's much easier to have a conversation doing something.
Yeah.
So let's have a natural conversation that's like forward flowing, like while you're shopping at a farmer's market, while we're going to go do reviews, while we're getting a bid on a construction site. Like I'm going to follow you around, and then we're going to have conversations after these things. And it doesn't leave any gaps to like, not that people have like ever fronted or like lied or like, but like sometimes we have the idea that we're going to puff ourselves up on something like this. You want to put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
Like I want to see the real shit.
It feels so, yeah, I agree with you. Podcasts can feel so PR sometimes,
100%.
especially when you like, I mean, I don't know if you had to do this because you were tapping into the pizza community, which you are a part of. But I mean, I've worked with so many PR people to get some guests on,
Yeah.
and those feel so manufactured
Yeah.
a lot of the time. It takes acting sometimes on my part to
Yeah.
make it seem like I am more comfortable than I am in those
100%.
situations.
I don't like that. I'm chasing like authenticity.
Yeah.
It is very important to me in an age where I feel like so much shit is fake.
Yeah.
Like you can see through it. What's scary to me is most people don't care, or like they like the fakeness, like
Yeah.
or like it's the thing that drives engagement. And I think that that's also a scary thing because like I'm doing this out of like I really want to make the piece of content of the day that I shared with somebody, and I want those people to like it. And putting out good, like feel good content that like tells this heartwarming story or like this struggle isn't always the thing that people are going to want to engage with.
No.
Most of the time it's not. Like they're going to, like I said, they're going to slow down for the burning car.
Yeah.
But like a couple getting engaged in the Silver Lake Meadow, they're going to run right by that. They're going to miss that magical moment. They don't give a shit.
It's true. You could look at which videos do the best on my page. But we were just talking about one last week where our guest last week, Matt Rodbard, had a take on Noma, and it just set the internet, well, our little corner of the internet,
Yeah.
on fire. And, you know, those moments really make you reflect on the part you play
Yeah.
in this whole ecosystem.
100%.
And that's what I appreciated about when I did my interview with you is it felt natural. Like when we went out and did our reviews. So yeah, dear listener, in case you weren't aware, I was on a recent episode of Fast Casual where Alex came along with me for a day of reviewing pizzas in Long Beach. And what I appreciated about the format was you really pushed me to reflect on that whole ecosystem that's out there in terms of the algorithm and the content machine and why we make things the way we make things and why we phrase things the way we phrase things. And it's something that you don't really get to do when you slow down or if you don't slow down and reflect.
Yeah.
But you also don't really get to do on a podcast because you're so self-conscious
100%.
about what you're saying and the way you're presenting yourself.
Uh-huh.
So this is the most meta conversation we've ever had on this, by the way.
And I want that to like disappear. I want it to like, with that little camera too, like it's not even there at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you capture like the real conversation or like what's really going on. And to drive it back, it's not like I'm just like doing this out of wholeheartedly. Like this is also another way for me to grow, you know? And I think that like, for me to get uncomfortable and go as a restaurateur, hang out with somebody that's doing pizza reviews, something that like I fucking loathe, like you know, like anyone going into somebody's restaurant and then rating it is like so foreign to me.
Yeah.
But like I learned, like I wrote you an email. I learned a lot that day. I thought about that experience like all night long, and I was like, listen, it doesn't have to be that deep. There isn't this expectation that Luca has going into a restaurant that like maybe somebody who built it has when a creator comes in. It's like you want that experience controlled, but you need to be okay with like, you need to be okay with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I came to. It's like, it doesn't matter what these people say. Like it does, because it can really boost your sales, but you have to be confident in your skin and like your product. And as long as you're okay with that, it's all right, man. It's good or bad noise.
Yeah. It goes for anything you do in life.
Yeah.
I think like even when I post a video, I'm like, I try not to get so wrapped up in, okay, if this doesn't break 10,000 views, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
Like I really try.
AMS, dude.
So it's like, but I just have to be okay with the fact that I'm happy with how this video is at. I'm happy that this information is out there, that I made this, and that's got to be enough for me.
Yeah.
If I am like so dependent on the validation of other people, then I'm like fucked. But that said, it's tough because you know, the thing you asked me on the episode, which I've been reflecting about a lot, is some of these things have impact.
Yeah.
And it can really fuck with a business.
Yeah.
Or it can really help a business.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, you know, the same way that somebody commenting negatively on my video can impact my business, or, you know, somebody sharing my thing in a positive light can impact it for the better. Like, yeah, there are stakes to this stuff, but ultimately, yeah, being secure in what you're doing is important. That's why I love what you're doing with fast casual. So where can people find it?
Yeah, it's on just YouTube right now. It's on my YouTube page.
Yeah.
I think my YouTube page is like Alex J. Koons or something like that. Yeah.
It's great advertising.
Yeah, and I'm really good at that.
We'll post it in the show notes. But Alex, great getting to know you a little bit. Now let's jump into what we usually do here, which starts with recent eats. Now I know you're a restaurateur. I know how often you get out to try other things, but what are some good things you've tried recently?
You know, I've been meaning to get there. It's taken me a long time, and I'm definitely late. But I went to Queens for the first time.
No way.
Yes, and it was fantastic.
That's awesome.
We got the chicken. It was like unbelievable, and the service was like wonderful. And Seth Rogen sat right next to us.
You're joking.
It was pretty cool.
Were you at a table or at the bar?
We were at a table.
Okay, so did you hear Seth Rogen laugh?
No, that's why we were like waiting for it. But I was like thinking he was like holding it in so everyone wouldn't know it was him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it gets me thinking, is that a fake
Is it
laugh?
a fake laugh,
Yeah.
Dave? Maybe.
And actually, in real life, he doesn't laugh like that.
That could probably be it. That's like that more believable.
Yeah, no, pretty wild. Yeah, I love Queens. Honestly, I think slept on because, honestly, and I'm interested to get your take on this as a restaurateur. I feel like when it opened, there was so much expectation around it as being like Found Oyster Part 2.
Yeah.
That when people went there and it didn't live up to that expectation, they just wrote it off wholesale. And I feel like the business kind of struggled there for a little while. And then they rebranded to Queens, and now it's become this perfect little neighborhood spot.
Yeah.
But what like the fact that people make up their minds so quickly about a spot, like that's got to be infuriating.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then like word of mouth is still king. So then it's like all these people are like, yeah, it's mid or whatever. And I had heard mixed reviews. It took me a long time to get there. But
and
like,
you live close.
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm up the street and I'm always like, nah, I don't want to do that. But I'm glad I did. I would definitely like go get a drink there too. Like it's a cool spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I do want to say I went to Rosaruma too, which it might be like the same. I think I love that whole restaurant.
Yeah, last word. Yeah.
That was one of the best meals I've ever had.
Really?
Oh my God. I loved every minute and second of it.
I liked Rosaruma. I got to go back. It was one of those nights where
You didn't like it?
I liked it a lot, but I just haven't like been itching to go back.
It was top 5, dude. It was top
really
5. The poo-poo platter was fire. And we were on our way to go see the Giggly Squad. So
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw Giggly Squad?
We saw Giggly Squad.
Damn, how was your show?
It was okay. It was like for the Netflix is a joke situation. And it was like kind of this like cross between that show Running Time. They had the stars of Running Time that
Running Point.
Running Point.
Yeah, the basketball show on Netflix.
But it was still good, dude. Paige and Hannah, I love just like how they roast all the men.
Yeah,
it's
great.
Dumb men.
The world needs more content like that.
100%. Like yes,
it doesn't feel authentic when we do it here, but yeah.
Last one though, one of the best restaurants, Cacao.
Oh well, yeah, that's a classic, Eagle Rock classic.
Cacao is fire, dude.
What's your cacao order?
Oh my gosh, cacao, dude, it could go a lot of different ways, but I'm definitely going to, oh my God, why am I blanking? What is like the roasted beef, like the cheesy street taco?
Oh shit. Like birria?
Yeah. They're birria.
Yeah.
Dude, that when I started eating meat again, I had those in that back corner table for the first time, the birria cheesy tacos, like street tacos. And I cried, dude. I saw Jesus in the back there, dude. I was like blown away.
Those are really fucking fire. Yeah, and actually, that's a whole topic we didn't even cover. Your like transition from vegan to non-vegan, but we don't have to get into that today.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Yeah, we are. Yes, yeah, it happened.
It happened. Speaking of non-vegan, I finally tried the burger at Bar 109.
Okay.
You heard about this?
No.
So they do it only on Tuesdays.
Of course they do.
Well, you have to, right? These days.
You gotta sell the scarcity, dude.
Yeah, and Tuesday. That's like famously a shitty day.
So
bring it up. But it's Corridor 109's bar. Corridor 109, this restaurant that just got a Michelin star for having like an 11-seat tasting menu. Once a week, they do a burger where they put the beef, they grill it over like Japanese wood. It's like Japanese grilled beef.
Of course.
And then they slather it in like onions, like sauce and everything. Like it's a great little bar burger, but yeah, that smoke is the first thing that hits you in the face. Honestly, the thing I liked even better, the hot dog. They have a hot dog on their menu, which is not Tuesday only.
Okay.
Lots of sweet Jimmy Nardellos on top. I just think like we need more bar hot dogs.
I mean, do we?
Yes, we do. Yeah. Everybody does a bar burger, but a bar hot dog?
I don't know, dude. I feel like a hot dog is very much like you got to be in the mood for a hot dog. Like I could eat me personally, I could eat a burger probably like a lot of the time, but like I have to be in the mood for a hot dog, mostly because most hot dogs I will end up burping up, and so that hot dog stays with me.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, burgers don't.
No.
Wow.
Maybe like the Dunsmore burger, like that would stay on your hands for like
Yeah.
days.
I didn't like that burger.
What?
I didn't like it. It was too much. It was too much. I think I made the mistake of eating it shortly before playing soccer. So speak
What the
of
fuck?
So
Why
this,
would you have that burger and then do anything except drink more wine?
this may be user error,
That's
it turns
crazy.
out. But
Yeah,
talk
that's
about a
crazy.
burger that stayed with me. That
Yeah,
was
that's
yeah,
crazy.
it mentally
That
impacted
is not
me.
a go play soccer burger.
No, it isn't a yeah, you're right. It's
I don't know
not a
if
doing-
there is a burger that's a go play soccer burger. That was a bad choice on your part.
It was, but you know, when you're doing the countdown,
Yeah.
you got to fit it
Dude,
in.
when you're doing the countdown, you gotta fit
You
it
got
in.
to fit it
dude.
in where you can.
That's
man.
100%.
And then shout out, last place I want to shout out, my favorite Lebanese bakery in town.
Yeah.
It's Fernsage in Granada Hills.
Okay.
Anytime anybody's like, let's get a lunch in
Yeah.
the valley, I'm like, let's go to Fernsage. I just impress them, you know?
Yeah.
It's like hole in the wall.
Yeah.
They make this like incredible sage bread. Actually, funny story. I went there to review a pizza.
I saw that.
So they don't make pizza. They just make sage bread,
Yeah.
which is their bread, and they top it with pizza shit and shawarma. I think it's really fucking
It's a
good.
bomb.
It's fucking good, but it's not pizza. So I sent Steve Dolinsky there to try it ahead of Pizza City Fest when
Yeah.
he was scouting locations,
Uh-huh.
and he texted me and was like, "This is trash."
I don't like that.
No.
Why would you just say like? Don't say anything.
Yeah. Well, no, but he was just trying to tell me like this is not going to make it to Pizza City Fest.
Fine, say that. Don't say it's trash because it doesn't. Is it trash?
No, well, hey, I put those words in his mouth, but he basically intimated to me, but his face looked like I sent him to eat trash, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I just felt bad because, like, yeah, okay, look, you can't send a pizza person to eat a non-pizza pizza, it turns out.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
You gotta be more open, dude.
But if you're open,
If you're open, that's the place.
the pizza at Fernsage is fantastic.
All right.
Alex, it's been so much fun to speak with you. I could do this all day. We do have a segment on our podcast recurring. It's called Chef's Kiss Big Miss.
Mm.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, here we go.
What are the rules here?
Okay, the rules are simple. I'm going to read you a blurb
Yeah.
that sums up a story, food story that came out this week.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to ask you a question. And I'm going to ask you that question whether it's a chef's kiss or a big miss.
Okay.
Meaning, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Got it. Good.
And
or
your
bad?
one job is to tell me it's a chef's kiss or it's a big miss, and you got to defend your take.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Actually, thank you for asking that, because if we never explain what this game is, and then
Yeah,
we just
I'm a little slow, so thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Here we go. Taekwondo host Bill Esparza, writing with Brett Anderson for the New York Times, argues that America is living through a golden age of Mexican food, with hyper-regional cooking now thriving everywhere from Oklahoma City to rural Wisconsin. The brutal irony, Mexican cuisine has never been more celebrated here at the exact moment Mexican immigrants are facing aggressive deportation campaigns, creating the uniquely American experience of loving the Chile Colorado while wanting the person who made it gone. The food itself, though, is getting more specific and unapologetic. Less, here's a giant menu of everything. More, this is the one dish my family makes. Learn what Michoacan is. Now, Alex, my question for you is this. One of the sentiments expressed in the piece is that one perfect regional specialty beats a giant Mexican restaurant menu every time. Is that take a chef's kiss or a big miss?
I think it's like a big miss because it's like a huge blanket statement to make. But I do feel like generally when you're cooking, if you can dial in on one thing, like what is that, Jiro or Hero of Sushi?
Yeah, Jiro Dream
yeah,
Sushi.
that
Yeah.
like that kind of like where you're like, I'm gonna do one thing great. And I think that like minimally, if your menu is smaller, you're gonna be dialed in. Everyone's gonna know what time it is. Like it's gonna crush every time. I think that's probably the best business model to do something great. But to go back to Cacao, that menu is fucking huge, and everything that I've ever ordered there, whether it's like the cheese chicken quesadilla or like the carne asada or
enchiladas,
or like their like the fried potato taco, like they do it up. And some of my favorite restaurants have like a Cheesecake Factory menu.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of the vibe, and that's what they want to do.
We need both places in this world.
We need both places. That seems like an elitist take.
Oh, damn. Okay, I agree with you. I agree with you. And by the way, I'm sure we vastly oversimplified that take, so I'm going to hear from Bill Esparza later on. Sorry, Bill. By the way, everybody go to his Taekwondo After Dark Fest happening the 27th and the 28th at Level 8. Tickets are in the show notes. Next one. According to the New York Times, Baltimore's greatest gift to the world is apparently the spaghetti, a Miller High Life topped with Aperol and lemon, which is what happens when an Aperol Spritz loses custody of the kids. The drink has gone from a $5 brewery joke to a worldwide bar staple, complete with Instagram reviewers scoring them, your favorite, to 2 decimal places, because even drinking a beer out of the bottle now requires analytics. And honestly, it makes sense. No shaker, no glassware, no technique, just 3 ingredients and the confidence to call Miller High Life Prosecco, which basically sums up the entire American culinary tradition. Alex, first of all, have you heard of the spaghetti?
No.
Okay, well, they serve one at the Arroyo Club on Figueroa.
Okay.
If you ever want to try it.
All right.
Picture a bottle of Miller High Life.
Yeah.
Half of it emptied out, filled up with Aperol Spritz and lemon juice in the same bottle. Does that sound like a chef's kiss or a big miss?
Sounds fire to me.
So chef's kiss?
I gotta give it a chef's kiss. I mean, any Miller High Life, like, like full stop. I'm good.
I want to like it.
Yeah.
I actually had one
It was
at
not
the Arroyo
good?
Club. I think it's because I too am a Miller High Life aficionado.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to fuck with my Miller High Life. Kind of like we don't want anybody to fuck with our tomato on pizza.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good take. I think that I don't know. Like when you try to like make something like that's supposed to not be high end.
Yeah.
I like the creative nature of it. Like let's let's pump this up a little bit.
Yeah, let's live a little.
Yeah, let's get a little crazy.
Yeah.
I would much rather just have an Aperol Spritz though.
Any day of the week,
Yeah.
100%. Okay, this next one, I'm really excited for your take on. The infatuation Silvio Martins gave Pizzeria Say's New Palms location a 9.1, calling its pizza essentially flawless, which in infatuation review terms is less a score and more of a high hydration marriage proposal. Say 2.0 has expanded beyond its signature Tokyo Neapolitan pies into fried Montanara and Roman-style scrocchiarella, even hard for me to say, plus a literal pizza graph ranking pies by complexity and juiciness, because eventually every great restaurant becomes a PowerPoint deck. The dining room may feel like a luxury condo leasing office, but Martin says, I think that's in the piece, not me.
Wow.
But Martin says nowhere in LA makes pizza with more finesse, whatever that means. Alex, not going to ask you to comment on Williams Pizza, but I was particularly interested with the detail that they're serving fried pizzas. What's your take on a fried pizza? Chef's kiss or big miss?
Oh, I think that's chef's kiss, dude.
Yeah, you're a fried pizza guy?
I think that honestly, I'm like a fair guy, dude. Take me to the Puyallup Fair, dude. LA County Fair, OC Fair, go see Tears for Fears, get an elephant ear, dude. Fried shit is fire. You can fry anything. And I think that like fried pizza is like also something they do in Italy.
Yeah.
And I think William himself, like anything that he does with so much intention. He probably like he researches everything. So it's probably not just like a fried pizza for fried pizza's sake.
No.
Like if he's frying that pizza, you're getting so much out of what he's trying to give you that I imagine it's pretty good. Also, if anyone fried their dough, it a lot of the time would probably taste better than their regular dough. So yeah, I get crazy, get wild. I feel like it's a kiss. But I also want to retract my Miller High Life thing. You're right. I just want to say that a Miller High Life should be untouched unless you're in Baltimore. Don't like bring it everywhere else because I think it's classy in Baltimore. Okay? Like it means something more in Baltimore, but like when you start trying to do it out here in LA, like come on.
Yeah. Okay, I can accept that. In Baltimore, it's a chef's kiss. Everywhere else in the continental United States, it's a miss. Okay, we can do that.
Okay.
Next one. Eaters Rebecca Rowland reports that the former Button Mash space in Echo Park is becoming the Ravine Club, an elevated sports bar from veteran TV writer Hank Chilton, because after writing on Nip Tuck, the logical next step is obviously deciding how many aiolis a chicken wing needs. The bar will serve upgraded versions of wings, burgers, hot dogs, and tacos, with help from restaurant veterans whose resumes include Mozza, Republique, and Dunsmore, which is a pretty serious bench for a place where half the clientele will be screaming, "What the fuck, Roberts?" at a television. Chilton says he wants it to feel welcoming, affordable, and not overly tribal, which is beautiful, and also suggests he may never have met a Dodgers fan. Alex, my question for you is this. We're seeing a lot of fucking clubs. Capri Club, Arroyo Club, now Ravine Club. Is our societal need to be part of a club a chef's kiss or a big miss?
Oh, man. I mean, I want to say miss, but tribalism is baked into all of us. I think everybody like wants to be in a club or be seen or felt heard. And that's apparent on the internet. As far as like them calling them clubs and shit, though, it just seems like more of like it sounds like old school and classic.
Yes.
Like I go to the Capri Club.
Me too.
Like,
actually, one time, very kindly, you had a table.
I gave you the table. Too.
My wife and I were waiting for a table, and you gave me the table.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you guys live so close, and you've never walked there, which is also crazy.
That is, yeah.
But that's classic LA shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like I don't know if it's. I don't know if that the name is so intentional to make it feel like a club. I don't even know if that was the question, but I think it just sounds nice.
So you're going to give it a chef's kiss, basically. I like that.
I think I gave it a chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I gave it a miss, didn't I?
No, you said we need to be part of a club. So, like.
No, I said that's a miss.
Oh, that's a miss.
No,
okay.
Dude, go.
I misunderstand.
Be your own person, dude. Go, like, get off the beaten path. Try something new.
Yeah.
Dive into something that. Go hear somebody else's opinion or try to believe something that you don't believe yourself. Go do some research. I feel like I have so many things inside of me that like pull me different ways.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always like, am I making the right decision? Or I change my mind from this to that thing, whether it's like politically or food wise. And I think being uncomfortable all the time is a good thing. That's where growth happens. I think being in a club or like always being right or doing the right thing because that's what all your friends are doing.
Yeah.
I think step out of line, get a little crazy, get wild.
I love that take. Honestly, though, me in my 20s, I was never very comfortable in the club, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you had 10 years of no club.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. We be clubbing? That's Ice Cube.
Oh, nice. We have first time that we've made an Ice Cube reference on this podcast.
Wow, dude. Well, today was a good day.
Yeah. two for one. Last one for you. Expedites Kristen Hawley reports that a San Francisco pasta shop is crowdfunding its third location by offering $550 investors free pasta every week for a year, while $4,000 gets you pasta for life or until you die, whichever comes first. And it turns out legally that matters. Chef Anthony Strong skipped Kickstarter, sold the subscriptions directly through Square, and vibe coded his own customer tracking software because this is San Francisco, and even your Bucatini has a seed round. The software even tracks who skips pickup during Burning Man week, finally giving us hard data on the exact point where pasta loyalty loses to ketamine in the desert. Alex, crowdfunding via pasta to open your restaurant. Chef's kiss or big miss?
First, that was a mouthful for you.
It was. That was a hard one. That was a hard one.
I got to give that's a kiss, baby.
Yeah.
I think it's so hard to open up a restaurant, and like the more creative funding that you can get, like the better. You open up restaurants and you bury yourself in debt if you don't have investors. And I can speak from like firsthand experience, and it's really hard to crawl out of that. And so any kind of creative way to open your business or get that going without that debt and being able to, sell food credits or have people help you out in the community. I think like it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village to run a restaurant. So I think that's creative and that's great. It'd be cool to see even more of that.
Yeah, I like that. $4,000 for pasta for life. Do you think that that's fair?
You know what? If people are willing to pay it, then it's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, like we live in a wild, wild place, and there's a lot of people that don't have money, and there's a good amount of people that do have that money. So if people are willing to pay it, let them do it.
Yeah. If anything, I'm like, that's not enough that I'm getting for my $4,000 investment.
Yeah.
Like, I want also buco for life, you know, like I want, yeah.
Well, I feel like if you have $4,000 to do that, it's more of like, it's a flex.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they probably won't even eat $4,000 of pasta.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah.
I love the idea that I'm thinking of somebody who just has $4,000 set aside and there's like, this is how I'm going to do it.
My pasta fund.
Alex, anything you want to plug before we leave?
If you haven't tried Hot Tongue, come pull up. I think we got some really special stuff here, and we got a great team and good vibes. And you're 90% of the time, Toby Keith is blasting on the radio. So if you're not into that, we have outdoor seating, and yeah, it's a good time. We're good people, and if you're on the YouTubes, go check out Fast Casual. I think we're on our like 8th episode. My goal is to do 50 to start out and see where that goes, but it's fun, exciting, and that's all I got. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't tried Hot Tongue, dear listener, a great way to do it is this Saturday at Pizza Run Club. Link in the show notes. We actually don't have many spots left, but if you are interested, there are a couple, so you know where to find me.
One last thing for you. Because I've been since the beginning of this interview. If you were a Bravo character.
Oh, okay. I was hoping you would ask this.
Who is your Bravo character?
I thought about this on my run this morning
because
I was expecting you to ask it to me back. Kyle Cook.
Dude, yes.
And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So, obviously, the cheating on the wife stuff.
100%.
Not great.
100%.
And I do not see myself in that. But just the, like, you know, play hard, work hard.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Honestly, work hard on some pretty irresponsible projects.
Yeah.
That also, like, really resonates with me.
Yeah.
And the fact that the dude just has no shame becoming a DJ at 40 years old.
I love it.
Seems like something I would do.
Yeah.
So
I thought about Kyle, but he's like a little problematic and like
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge.
But like, I love when you just be like, get drunk and be like, I'm $5 million in debt. Like this last season, like I really like his anxiety and everything. I was like, I have been there.
Yeah.
I am that man.
Me too.
But I've never called my wife a fucking bitch.
Alex, thanks so much. We'll be back right after the break. This is a pizza heavy episode. We'll be right back with Lawrence Longo. Dear listener, I'm very excited to welcome to the LA Food Podcast today the force of nature behind Prince Street Pizza, Irv's Burgers, The Bar Next Door, Henry's Secret Ice Cream, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of other projects as well. It's none other than Lawrence Longo. Lawrence, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Dude, thank you for making time for us. I am so excited for this conversation. I've got an icebreaker question for you. People might not realize that you ate a burger every day for 365 straight days, making my effort to eat 100 burgers in 365 days look like trash, honestly. Be honest, though. What did you eat on day 366?
Oh, you know what?
What?
I had a burger.
You're sick. Are you serious?
We were opening Burgers Never Say Die, and I ate more burgers.
That's wild, bro. Do you ever get tired of burgers?
No, honestly, it's something that you can always eat. Every time you eat one, it's like it's different, you know. It's always a different experience, and it's a full meal. You got veggies, you got protein, you got everything you need in a burger.
Yeah. Can't argue with that. What's obviously, you know, you run your fair share of burger joints, but what's the best burger you've had recently that's not one of your own?
Oh, wow. Could it be one that I made? I made a Juicy Lucy at my cottage over a fire. Made it by hand with my own patty.
Damn.
Like, you know, put the cheese. If you don't know what a Juicy Lucy is, it's basically cheese that's built around the burger. So when you cook the burger, it melts inside of the burger. That was pretty amazing.
That sounds great. Is that that's like a Minnesota thing, right?
It's it was created in Matt's Bar in Minnesota. It's called the Juicy Lucy. I'm into thick burgers these days.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, maybe Moose Craft Barbecue is one of those thick burgers that I love.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's 2 weeks in a row Moose Craft Burger makes an appearance on this podcast. Your friend How Kev Eats mentioned it last week, actually. So you guys are on the same wavelength. So
yeah.
Perfect burger to you, thick burger.
I think I called this 2 years ago. The thick burger's coming back. I was really, you know the best burger I actually really had?
What?
Red Hook Tavern in New York City. That burger is perfection as a thick burger.
Why?
Have you had it?
No, I'm going to New York in November, so I should have that one if I'm going to have one burger.
Everything at Red Hook Tavern is delicious.
Yeah.
Billy Durney is a magician with like barbecue and meat. Hometown Barbecue is his spot, and this bar called Red Hook Tavern. It's amazing. From the bun, it's very simple. It's literally the bun, cheese, and an onion, and it's the quality of meat and the way he cooks it. I said this when I was on my burger journey. The best burger needs no condiments. It's literally bun, meat, and cheese, and it is fabulous.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I definitely think some burgers hide behind the condiments, but yeah, if you can do it without, then props. Okay, Red Hook Tavern, I'm gonna try it.
You know what also burgers hide behind?
What?
The Martin's potato bun.
Oh, you think there's too many Martin's potato buns?
I think it's a cheat code. I think that the Martin's potato bun. Any burger's good with a Martin's potato bun.
That's a good take, actually. I've started making burgers at home, and I used to always make them with Martin's potato buns. I've started actually using King's Hawaiian rolls, which I like even better. Yeah, cheat code, but my God, what a cheat code. That is so damn good.
It's good.
Yeah. All right, Lawrence, we got a lot of ground to cover, so I'm going to get into it. You have one of those careers that sounds like someone hit shuffle. Correct me if I'm wrong with any of this, by the way. So you grew up in Toronto in an Italian family. You're an elite hockey player playing for Canada at youth levels and for NYU in college. You moved to LA with no real network to chase entertainment after working as an extra in Canada.
Oh my God.
Right? That's a true story, right?
Yeah. I don't know. No one's ever brought that up. I was in the Jennifer Lopez movie.
That's which one?
Oh my God. Caviezel and Jim Caviezel and Jennifer Lopez. I'm blanking on the name of it.
But a classic, I'm sure.
No, I don't think it was that good. It was about a trumpet player.
Okay.
But yeah, it was Jim Caviezel and Jennifer Lopez. I can't believe that. I was an extra in that movie. But I really started as an extra in this hockey TV series in Canada. But keep going. You're doing your research well.
So far, so good. Well, so then you move to LA. You work from your way from assistant to creative executive for Joel Silver, and you start producing things in your own right. This is also like early 2000s. So my question for you is, be honest, did you ever feel like you were living in an episode of Entourage?
Yeah, 100%. I actually worked for Joel Silver's president, not actually for Joel Silver, but the president of his company. I was his assistant. And then he started his own company, was developing his own movies. And in fact, not only did I feel like I was in an episode of Entourage, it was even crazier than Entourage. I remember I was telling a story. I remember with like DMX coming into the office and like putting guns on the desk for a writer's meeting. And I like literally pissed my pants. And, you know, my boss would have like Scott Whelan and Slash literally jamming out in his living room.
Wow.
It was insane. And I actually created a great relationship with a lot of people through that. But one of them was one of the writers from Entourage, which is Rob Weiss.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's really so speaking, my life was like Entourage, except I was the assistant, you know what I mean? And just seeing it all, being a Canadian kid, not knowing anything about like Hollywood, just like you think Hollywood is all this glitz and glamours, man, I would work literally probably 14-hour days. I made $350 a week. I would get like plates and food thrown at me like I screwed up the sandwich. It was absolutely chaos. But, you know, the Friday afternoons, my boss would take me shopping and like buy me like nice sunglasses, you know, for harassing me all week.
That's awesome. I wish my boss, I got harassed in the world of politics too, and let me tell you, politicians ain't buying you shit, dog. So you know what? I'm jealous. You know, it's funny you say that you were just this kid from Canada, but because you were so good at hockey, like, weren't you buddies with Sean Avery, who was playing in Los Angeles at the time? So you got up to some. I heard on a podcast you mentioned that was a fun time to be hanging out in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, Sean and I played on Team Ontario camp when we were 16, but we played against each other all the way up, like from the time we were 8 years old. And yeah, when he got traded to the LA Kings from Detroit, him and another buddy I grew up playing with, Mike Camilleri, we all would start like hanging out together. And that was like the era of Paris Hilton and bottle service. And that was a wild time in Hollywood for sure. It was all young Hollywood kids, and it was wild.
I'm going to be honest with you. Nothing about this early career screams this guy's going to be one of Los Angeles' most impressive restaurateurs. When and how did food enter the picture for you?
Well, you know, the thing is that we've always been obsessed with food. Like my whole life, my family, and even like my friends, we'd always like everything revolves around dinners, breakfasts, lunches. Like everything revolves around food. So even like as an executive, like my boss would make me go to Bristol Farms for his lunch, you know, set up dinners and like, you know, and the first time I remember discovering about a secret menu item was Wolfgang Puck. And my boss took me to Spago. It was like, hey, this is a secret menu. Or he said it was off the menu. Only if you're in the know, you know. And it was a smoked salmon pizza by Wolfgang Puck, which he's kind of famous for now. It's not really that much of a secret. In fact, I think it's even on the menu now.
Yeah.
And then I remember going there, and then the next day, people were like, you got to go try In-N-Out Burger. And they take me to In-N-Out Burger, and they're like, order it animal style. And I was like, it's a secret menu. I was like, what's this secret menu stuff in LA? And I was blown away that like, and then I dug right into like secret menus at In-N-Out, and was my mind blown. But food, growing up in an Italian family, it's all about food. It's mainly about like I spent a lot of my time eating Italian food, but you know my mother and my sisters always were like experimenting ricotta lemon pancakes and like so I never missed a meal growing up. I'm very fortunate of that, and everything was like insanely good.
Yeah,
you know, fresh tomatoes and the tomato sauce. Everything, even like, you know, from like the barbecues outside. And it was I was fortunate that I think my family is what gave me the palate that I have today, which is a kind of a palate that never grew up, because you could take me to a Michelin star restaurant and I'm not impressed. I am impressed with the service and everything like that, but it's like, just give me a nice cheeseburger. It's like the movie The Menu. Just give me a nice cheeseburger. That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's what makes me happy. A nice slice of pizza. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
A nice taco, a burrito.
It's funny you say that about your family in Canada, because honestly, one of my favorite food memories from early on in my life is visiting my Italian family in Toronto. And I just feel like they took their food so seriously, and they went to such lengths to do things fresh. And I think that happens especially in Italian American and Italian Canadian families, because you have to like work even harder to preserve that food memory and preserve that food culture. So really unsurprising to hear you say that. It's like, you know, you got people canning their own tomatoes especially in Canada, canning their own tomatoes in the basements because they don't grow year round, but you need them year round, like going to crazy lengths.
That's exactly what my grandmother would do.
Yeah.
We'd freeze a sauce. They'd make jars of banana peppers and jams, and like that was what they would do, is they would cook and they would make things. And yeah, we had big downstairs like freezers where we preserve things over the long summers. You're dead on.
So it's funny you bring off the menu pizza at Spago, because you started a really successful app called Off the Menu, where, correct me if I'm wrong, people could for a small monthly fee get access to secret menu items at restaurants across the city. Now understand, this became like $1 million business, yet you walked away from it. Why'd you do that?
It was a couple things. I want to say I was a little bit ahead of my time with these like kind of pop-ups and things like that. But, you know, when I started Off the Menu, it was just curating. It was about discovery, secret menu items. And then you realize when you start a business, you have to, you know, have a way to make money, to pay people and to create a business. And I didn't understand the idea of like, oh, just raise money and just keep raising money. And like that, I was like, no, I got to figure out how to make money. And so I created a food club with Off the Menu that would really promote secret menu items, which would in turn drive traffic to restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And so every week, 7 new restaurants came up that had a secret menu item. You paid $20 a month to access it. the truth of the matter is, and why I kind of got burnt out on it, was one thing is that Facebook changed their algorithm and my customer acquisition costs went through the roof. I couldn't figure out how to acquire new customers. The other thing that I really think went wrong was I was trying to promote too many things. So every week we had to promote 7 restaurants. If I had just focused on one restaurant to promote, I could have driven all that traffic to the one restaurant, really highlighting one thing. So I think what I really tried to do is I tried to do too much.
Yeah.
And the truth is, there's not 356 good restaurants in Los Angeles. And there's 150, hands down, amazing restaurants. But like, you know, there wasn't like enough to like promote 7 a week. And that was really the thing. And what I found was I was promoting things that I didn't really like.
Yeah.
And I didn't really believe in. And that's like selling your soul. And that and the Facebook algorithm, and then I started having success with Tenderfest, Prince Street Pizza, Burgers Never Say Die. Those things kind of were like, oh, you know, the real success is find one craveable item.
Yeah.
And that's the real truth to success in the food business, from fine dining all the way to a taco shop. You need one craveable item.
Yeah.
And that will drive all the customers you need. And they'll come back. And they'll come back regularly. And so I think, you know, trying to promote too many things, it was the downfall of off the menu in a way. But it led to so many, it's like to say it was really successful and then it kind of like I got burnt out, but it led to so many paths for me, which, you know, I see it as it was a success. It was just a part of my life, you know.
100%.
It was my birth into the food business.
Yeah, I mean, what better education in terms of being around restaurants, being in the kitchen, than literally having to do the hard yards, pound the pavement, and find restaurants where you could collaborate with them to serve people these secret menu items. It was like an education. Now, you mentioned Prince Street. Let's talk about Prince Street. And then probably, I understand it was actually hockey that brought you to Prince Street in the first place. Tell us about what role Sean Avery played in introducing you to it.
Yeah, shout out to Sean Avery, who's just recently in The Odyssey, which is an unbelievable movie.
He's one of the guys who was eating the food and then turns into a pig, right?
He's part of the whole way through.
Yeah.
In the movie, but the pig scene where she like morphs his face, that was his like big moment.
Yeah.
In the movie. Well, he beat up he got in a fight with 3 guys outside of Prince Street Pizza in probably 2013. And the owner came outside and was like, "Oh my God, it's Sean Avery." He said, "Can you get a picture with me?" And the guys who he had beat up took the photo of Sean and Dom Morano. And Sean and Dom became friends. And every time I would go to New York, Sean would send me to Prince Street. He's like, "Best pizza in the city. You got to go have it." And this was like 2013, 14. Prince Street hadn't it was an unbelievable slice, but people didn't really know of it at that time. There wasn't like crazy lines like there are today. But I would go there, and I remember like just being lonely in New York City, and that Spicy Spring was so good.
Yeah.
I never tried a slice of pizza like it, because the sauce was it was different than normal pizza sauce. It tasted like my grandmother's sugo on Sunday on a pizza. The pepperonis were these thick. It felt like the best snap of a hot dog in the pepperoni, and then the dough was like this flavorful dough, and you just knew it was a step above most pizzas I had ever eaten at that time. And you know, so he introduced me to Dom, and me and Dom became friends. And then in 2018, I called Dom up. Well, I was promoting an off-menu item at Prince Street in like 2016, 2017, the Broadway breadcrumb. And then in 2018, I called Dom and said, "National Pizza Day's coming up February 9th. We need to bring Prince Street Pizza to LA."
Wow.
And that's so Sean Avery is the the seed that introduced me to Prince Street for sure.
It's really funny you mentioned the pepperonis because obviously everybody uses the pepperoni cups now, but I don't think people realize that Prince Street was actually the business to really put that style of pepperoni on the map, right?
Yeah, so they definitely popularized it. They were using those pepperonis in upstate New York and Buffalo on kind of they weren't Sicilian pies, but they were more like pan pizzas, but nobody was really using those cup and curl Rosa Grande pepperonis until Prince Street Pizza. And it was the perfect kind of mitzvah of Instagram and Prince Street putting the spicy on the cup and curl pepperonis on the spicy spring. Because when you photograph that pizza, it looks good from every angle. And that square would go viral anytime somebody would take a photo of it. And I think so. They definitely are the reason why that pepperoni. And by the way, they the pepperoni manufacturers will tell you Prince Street Pizza made this pepperoni popular.
Like the sales correlate with when Prince Street got on this scene, right?
100%.
Yeah, wild. So you bring this pop-up to Los Angeles. There's lines down the block on Sunset to the point where you're literally causing car crashes on Sunset.
2 car crashes the first weekend at the Prince Street Pizza pop-up.
That's wild.
It was like where somebody was rubbernecking, boom, right? And it happened twice. The Friday and then the
Great. I mean,
Sunday.
honestly, that should be the measure of success of all pop-ups is did you even cause a car crash, bro?
Right. It was 5 blocks long. I couldn't believe it. It was 5 blocks long. It was a literally Star Wars type of line.
Yeah. At some point during this pop-up, you start thinking, this has legs. I got to actually bring this to Los Angeles. Now, what do you think made the pop-up so successful? Was it just right place, right time?
I couldn't believe how many people had heard of Prince Street Pizza. And what I really think is, right place, right time. I think that we didn't have a true New York Sicilian pizza that had hit LA.
Yeah.
A real brand, that had hit LA. And I think it was something different. The same thing, the same feeling I had when I first tried it. The sauce, most pizzerias they open up their can of tomatoes and they just literally put the sauce on the pizza, right?
Yeah.
Prince Street Pizza is making pasta sauces. So we're cooking the sauces down and putting them on the pizza. And I think Instagram, the marketing and promoting that we did to hype it up and a great name. And like I said, is I didn't know how many people had known about Prince Street, but yeah, everybody showed up for it. That's for sure.
So it's like lightning in a bottle, and you have this sense that, okay, this is more than a pop-up. This actually needs to be a business in Los Angeles. So you fly to New York, you pitch Frank and Dom on this, but you weren't the first person to have that idea. Why did they say yes to you?
I don't know how many people had asked them to expand. I think a lot of people wanted them to expand more in New York, and I was coming to let's open in LA. We've proven it can work. You've seen what's going on. And I had no experience in opening a pizzeria or a restaurant. I had just helped open up Burgers Never Say Die, but we didn't operate that like a restaurant. We literally operated that like a pop-up.
Yeah.
Right? And so I had no real experience, but I said to Frank, I gave him my game plan. I said, I think we could open one of these in every city that has, 1 or 2 major sports teams. I had this idea of that's the way it could work. And he said, where are you from? I said, I'm from Canada. He's like, no, but you're Italian? I was like, yeah, I'm from Italy, or my family's from Calabria. He's like, oh, what part of Calabria? I said, Cosenza. And he's like, oh, Paisan. And he shook my hand. And, even though he'll never admit that was the reason, I think, he saw something inside of me that was was very real, and that he knew that, I promised I'd never change the recipes. I'd stay true to the product. He said on one condition, the water. I was like, oh, no problem. We'll figure that out.
So how did you figure that out?
So thank God to my app off the menu, we'd been working with a pizzeria called Ghost Pizza. They now have
on Melrose?
Now it's Ghost Sandos.
Yeah.
And when we did the pop-up, I said, can I buy he had told me I use New York water. I was like, how do you use New York water? And he showed me this filtration system that he had bought called from someone in New York called New York Water Maker. And I was buying water from him to bring for the Prince Street Pizza pop-up. And at that moment, I was like, oh, great, this can actually like work.
Wow. That's, but then obviously you have to eventually build your own relationship with that water maker, because buying it from Ghost would have been an unsustainable business model.
I mean, now I should own the business.
Seriously, with 20 locations around the country. The detail, yeah. So the other detail I love about you actually opening Prince Street back here in Los Angeles is that you did it in November 2020, mid-pandemic. Was there ever a moment where after you took the leap, you were just like, what the fuck have I done here?
Yeah, so I signed a lease in 2019. I want to say it was like, we signed the lease in maybe May or June 2019. I set up a TV show with Mark Wahlberg. Nobody really knows this. At his reality TV show company. And it's about an Italian family from Staten Island, the Moranos, who moved to LA to literally fish out of water story to open up a pizzeria in Los Angeles, in Hollywood.
Wow.
Pandemic happens. You can't shoot a pilot. It becomes tough to do. But we finally figure out how to open up a restaurant. And like, it's not easy to open up anything in LA, as everyone in the restaurant business knows. We finally got it open. We opened it up in November 2020. So it was like March 2020 was the pandemic. And now everyone's wearing masks, and there's, 6 feet between people and all this like red tape you have to get over to open it up. But we did, and we didn't have pizza. I think did well for delivery during the pandemic because that's all you could do. But yeah, we got it open. We did a collaboration with Mad Happy because of the 6 feet distance. Even though the people in my line didn't obey by it, that line was even bigger than the pop-up line. It went from West Hollywood all the way to Beverly Hills, and I'm not even lying. We had a line in 2 zip codes. Yeah, it was a really special opening. It was literally like, they say opening up a restaurant is like literally getting like punched in the face like for like a full month.
And that rings true?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was,
yeah.
And the crazy thing is we had other like restaurants that were calling the health department complaining about our line wasn't like 6 feet apart. There's a restaurant called Pink Taco.
Yeah.
Because the health department said this restaurant Pink Taco keeps on calling and saying your line isn't 6 feet in distance, So we went over to Pink Taco, and we like gave them pizzas. We came over and the three of us walked in there and just said, hey, we want you to have these pizzas. They're on us, nothing else, and we walked away. And you could see them just like they literally about to shit their pants. And but yeah, it was crazy. It was a wild time back then.
Kill them with kindness,
That's what we figured, Just they're probably pissed off because they didn't want to wait in line.
Yeah, well, not a bad theory, honestly. So fast forward to 2026, Prince Street has gone from one gritty no-lita shop to roughly 20 locations across the U.S. and Canada. The Spicy Spring is photogenic enough for Instagram. The stores carry this New York mythology, and your collaborations, which you are always doing, bring in entirely new audiences all the time. What makes Prince Street successful across geographies? Does it come down to what you were saying earlier with that one craveable item?
It's craveable item. It's a premium quality product. Like, listen, since I opened Prince Street in LA, the LA pizza scene has like taken off like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
I almost want to say that the LA pizza scene is as good as the New York pizza scene. Now they don't.
Damn.
I'm going to caveat that and be like, it's more diverse of a pizza scene. New Yorkers make the New York pizza better than anybody, hands down.
For sure.
But in terms of the diversity of pizza in LA, I think it's one of the best, if not the best, pizza city in America. And I think that when I did end up doing a pop-up in Dallas, and I was able to keep the consistency of the pizza in 3 different cities, I knew I could deliver this quality to every city in America.
Yeah.
With that being said, is that you have to set up systems because it's tough to find great pizza makers. It's tough to scale around pizza. I'm lucky that, we're famous for our Sicilian squares, right? So they're a little bit easier to scale because you have to stay inside of a pan. The rounds, it's an art form. It really is. And there's so many great pizza makers in New York City. I think that the reason why Prince Street is because we've got a really solid name. We really care about quality. We care about hospitality, and we're always trying to get better. Now, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to slip up. There's going to be a bad pizza here or there, but the core of my team and my business, and none of this happens without a great team. We always want to do better, and we always want to become better. And, once you realize to stop listening to all the distractions and focus on yourself, it makes your goal a lot clearer. That and the collaborations are, that's my kind of creativity from coming from Hollywood, and just, wanting to keep things fun. And, I think of Prince Street as more of like a media company in a way anyways. Like our boxes are advertising and our pizza's the product, but telling a story all the time and be able to tell other people's stories through our pizza is it keeps it exciting.
No, that's really well said. Now, the challenge feels almost like the inverse of 2019. Like, instead of taking a small pizza shop and turning it into a cult brand across the country, you're now bringing it across the country, but you don't want to make it feel like a chain. I've heard you on other podcasts kind of like bristle at the word franchise. Why? Why don't you like the word franchise?
I think there's negative connotations towards franchise. I think sometimes when people franchise, they're selling their units. They're not being very thoughtful of who's operating them. And I was very fortunate, and I study people that I want to be like. And Todd Graves has said that when he was building Raising Cane's, he had hit a point where he wanted to scale faster, but it costs a lot of money to open up restaurants, and you need a lot of infrastructure. And he had gotten 5 of the best operators that he could find, and him along with them opened up Raising Cane's all across America. He has since bought them back now because of all the success, because ideally you want to be able to control them all, but if you really are setting the goal to be the best chicken finger company or the best pizza company in America, you need help of people who are better than you. And so, I have found, 3 people that are way better operators than I am. They love the brand as much as I do. And they're helping me build out territories. And so even though I follow all the franchise laws, they're my partner.
Yeah. You're hand picking the people who you work with to do this.
Yeah, because if I said, hey, I'm going to franchise Prince Street Pizza, I'd have so many calls, I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
And I'm luckily enough in a position where I can pick the best. So they have to be operating at least 50 restaurants. They have to have built-in companies and infrastructure, right? And they have to be able to fund at least 15 of them. For me, those are the things to me that I can learn from these people. I inspect all their restaurants. I go to them. I check their bathrooms. I check their kitchens. And quite honestly, like I said, they're better operators than I am.
Yeah.
I've only been operating for 6 years now. So it's I learn from them. They're operating Dave's Hot Chickens. They're operating Dunkin' Donuts, Jersey Mike's, and say what you will about Jersey Mike's, but man, I go to that place at least once or twice a month.
Oh yeah,
man, and they are consistent. Their restaurants are clean. You know what I mean? They know what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. They're successful for a reason. So you mentioned expansion, and when I think expansion, my mind goes to venture capital funding. So I understand you have had some conversations with VCs in the past, but decided against it. What didn't you like about that world?
I mean, the amount of money they were offering me sounded really nice. And then when I really looked at it, it was like, these people are just gonna, like, I weighed out all the pros and cons of venture capital, and one of my who I love as well, Prime Pizza is venture backed, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have venture capital backing them, and they're opening up all over the place. I didn't want somebody forcing me to open up at a rate and that only looked at the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you look at just the bottom line, which is the most important thing at the end of the day, and I'm very aware of that, then you make decisions based off of that. I want to make decisions based off of my customers, based off of my employees, based off of becoming a better brand. Because if I can become a better brand in the long run, I'm going to win the long game.
Mm-hmm.
And, as much as I'm competitive and I want to open up fast, and I've made so many mistakes. Like, people think, oh yeah, you're doing so well and stuff like that. I make so many mistakes, but the key to making a mistake is learning from your mistakes and not making them twice. And I think that's kind of the thing, is that I didn't want to be forced. I didn't want to get a big paycheck, and because people get a big paycheck and they think they've made it.
Yeah.
And I like to be bootstrapped. I like to earn every dollar. And I know at the end of I'm not stupid. I know at the end of the day there will be a payday.
Yeah.
Right. I got 3 kids in private school. Now. I got that's
there's real, you got bills to pay. Well, it's funny you say that, because we've just been focusing on Prince Street Pizza because honestly it's a lot it really is your origin story as a restaurateur, but your empire is much bigger than Prince Street these days. You've brought back Irv's Burgers from the dead, which now has 6 locations total, I believe. You're an investor.
Yeah, 6 locations.
Yeah, between California and Nevada now. You're an investor in Burgers Never Say Die, as you talked about. You own Bar Next Door, which also is churning out some of the city's most impressive bar pies. And you just launched Henry's Secret Ice Cream, which on this very podcast, Mona Holmes called the best ice cream in Los Angeles. And I'm not even talking about Tenderfest and all the other shit you do. What's the deal? Do you just hate free time or what?
I love what I do.
Yeah.
I love food. I love building brands. I love working with teams. I love the entrepreneurship that goes behind it. I just love it all. I really don't make that much money, so it's really, I do it for the love of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't love what I'm doing, it would be miserable.
Yeah.
It would be absolutely miserable. And that's the truth of it, is that I love burgers. I love pizza. I love ice cream, the one thing I don't love is I don't love to drink.
Yeah.
I did at one, and I know, and I would only even say that I didn't love to drink. I love to party and socialize.
Yeah.
But the bar, what I loved about the bar was a third place where people could meet. The truth is, I don't have any free time. The free time that I have, I make sure I spend with my kids. I don't go out. I don't go to parties. I don't go to events. There's a rule that's called the 4-burner rule. You have 4 burners. It's your health, it's your work, it's your family, and your friends, right? And I honestly I have very, very few friends. When I was young and really broke and wasn't lost, had a ton of friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so my family and my work are my 2 things that I burn at full steam, and that's what I focus on. And my family, the family is my family at work, and then I have my family at home.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, I just love what I do, so it makes it easier.
It's really palpable, man. It really is. And I could stand to learn about the 4 burners, because that's news to me. That is going to help me so much. I appreciate that. Tell us a little bit more about Henry's Secret Ice Cream, actually, talking about building about brands, because I just want to know how it came to be and why it's so fucking good. Like it's ice cream.
This is going to be an exclusive news for you. So I always wanted to open up every time I opened up an ice cream shop, every time I opened up a pizzeria, the ice cream shop down the street would come to me and say, thank you, our sales just went up because Prince Street Pizza opened down the street. And when I opened Prince Street in West Hollywood, everybody was trying to get the spaces beside me. And I said to my landlord, I'm taking the whole block. He's like, all right, well, we got to make a deal. I made a deal with him. that I was going to open up something on either side of Prince Street. The first thing I needed to do, I knew that people loved to eat pizza after
Yeah.
they're drinking and they're drunk. It was a great food to sober you up. So the first order of business was the bar. The second order of business was a dessert concept. And during the pandemic, me and my wife would sit at home and we'd order food, and I ordered a little too much ice cream from a place called Antico Nuovo.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like loving this ice cream. And I called up my friend Jordan Oak and I said, Jordan, do you know this guy Brad Wright? Can you introduce me? He's like, I don't know if I can introduce you, but I'll give you his contact. He gives me Brad Wright's contact, who's responsible for the ice cream program at Antico Nuovo. He had been the pastry chef at 11 Madison Park. He opened up the Nomad Hotel, and I called him. Never, just ghosted me. Never, didn't even answer back, left me on red, like totally just ghosted me. And so I had these other friends of mine, and we opened up that said they could make ice cream, and we made an ice cream shop called Hall Pass. And it was the people I worked with were amazing, but the ice cream just wasn't like, it didn't hit like the way that Henry's has been hitting. And it was one piece of advice I got was fail fast.
Mm-hmm.
And when something's not working, you got to just like look yourself in the mirror and say, is this going to work or not? And it didn't work. But while that was happening, Brad Wright calls me back.
Huh.
And he goes, congratulations on all your success. And I said, call me the fuck back. And he calls me. I was like, dude, why didn't you call me back 2 years ago? And he's like, oh, I was in a chefy mode. I didn't know why the guy from Prince Street and Irv's Burgers, what does he want to talk to me about? And I was like, I want to open an ice cream shop with you. And I was like, I have this one that's open. It's not doing so well. Will you come and help us? And he basically came and he was like, hey, I could help, da-da-da. That same time, a guy who started David Protein Bar calls me up.
Yeah.
He goes, Lawrence, I want to buy Hall Pass. I'm like, you want to buy Hall Pass? Okay. Are you serious? I'm not making any money. I'm literally like losing so much money from this thing. And he goes, no, the trademark, I want to buy the trademark. I have this idea to make this and it just came out, called Hall Pass, and it's a candy. It's like M&Ms and Reese's Buttercups, but with a third of the calories.
Huh.
And I want that name. And I said, how much? I gave him, he quoted me one price. I quoted him back. We made a deal. And so we sold Hall Pass. I was like, I love ice cream, and I've always wanted to work with Brad Ray. And I said, Brad, you want to start an ice cream company with me? I just don't want to do a brick and mortar. Here's my idea. I said, let's do ice cream drops. We'll drop one flavor every Wednesday, and we'll build a brand. We'll build a buzz. And once we have enough like volume, then we'll open up a shop. And the first week he comes to me and he's like, we're going to start with carrot cake ice cream. And it's going to have candied walnuts and pineapple and carrot cake. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck did I do? I hate walnuts in ice cream. I hate pineapple in ice cream. I'm like, what the heck did I do? Anyways, we dropped 50 flavors. My friend Evan Fox from Yeasty Boys is going to a dinner party with Mona Holmes and gives her the ice cream. She tries it. She's like, what is this wizardry? Oh my God, it's Brad Ray from Antico. He's making ice cream again. So the first one, we only did 50 pints. And it was like, we sold probably 30. And I gave 20 to like friends, influencers, like people in my circle. The next week we do 200 pints of cookies and cream. It sells out. Not like within record time. It took, I think, like 6 hours to sell out.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. And Mona Holmes is writing a story. She writes a story on Eater. Jen Harris comes in the next day. She tries the ice cream. She writes a story on LA Times. And the next week, and I'm we do milk and honey. We
Yeah.
go to 250 pints, sells out. Now we're doing pistachio brittle, and now we're up to 500 pints. Now that thing sells out in like 3 minutes.
Wow.
And it was just like Brad Ray's been making. Your question was, why is it so good? He's been making ice cream for 30 years. He cares about the products. He cares about the ingredients that go in the products. People say, "Oh, you have better for you ice cream." We have better products, but we make the best flavored ice cream.
Yeah. It'll still make you fat.
It's still gonna make you fat. So, and he just loves what he's doing. So what I'm doing is building a team around him that he's comfortable with. He's getting his old coworkers, and when we were trying to figure out what to call it, and me and him were like, we agreed, let's call it Honey Pot. And then somebody calls me and was like, "You know what Honey Pot is?" I was like, "No, what is it?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a decoy. It's online. It's a decoy online." They're like, "No, it's feminine hygiene products." And we're like, "Oh, we can't call it Honey Pot." And Brad during a couple of years back was selling ice cream called Henry's Secret, and he told me the meaning of Henry's Secret, and literally gives me shivers whenever I think about it. And it was the guy he would love making ice cream with, that it was his old colleague, Henry. And they would make ice cream together. And they always dreamed about opening up an ice cream shop. And and he had passed away of cancer about 2 years ago. And, we stuck with the name Henry's Secret as a dedication to him and Brad and his friendship in making ice cream together. And been literally another lightning in a bottle, if you will. It's just, and the truth is that it's all out of love, and we love doing it, and it's been fun. And now we're doing close to 2,000 pints a week and selling out in record time. So
yeah,
it's exciting.
And it's really good, dear listener. If you haven't tried it, you absolutely should. We're getting to the end here, but I wanted to talk about the fact that you are now operating in New York, Miami, Nashville, Chicago, Las Vegas, Toronto, all over Southern California. So you've got a better comparison set than most when I ask you this question. But what is uniquely difficult about being a restaurateur in Los Angeles?
Wow. The high rents, the red tape, the government set up laws against small businesses. It makes it really difficult to operate businesses in LA. There's so many restaurateurs that I'm friends with that won't open up in LA, and they should, because they know it is almost impossible to make money running a business in LA, a small business in LA. It's sad. But there's something magical about LA, like nothing else, that, when you do hit it with a good business, the opportunities, everything that comes out of it is all worth it. But it is a struggle to get restaurants open, to keep them open, to get, the bigger you get, the more you're a target for lawsuits. There's assholes that are running around suing people. They're looking for ADA laws. They're suing you because your website isn't correct for the blind or the deaf. And it's not even that you can't even, if you have something wrong with your restaurant that you just didn't know, like a first-time restaurant owner, and then you get slapped with a $20,000 lawsuit because you didn't have an ADA thing correct, you should have 6 weeks to fix it.
Yeah.
Or 6 days. Even 6 days. But right away, they sue you. And you have to pay for it. And they know it's going to be a settlement. And it's just like the ambulance chasing lawyers know exactly how to squeeze you for money. And even there's a racket with all my employees I love. They're amazing. We try and treat them as best as we possibly can. But you'll ask any restaurateur who's been around, and there's employees out there that are just trying to set you up to sue you. And in California, they always win. But that being said, when you do have a great business in LA, there's no better place to have a winning business in LA. because, you know, the love of the customers and everything you can get out of it is worth it. And to me, you know, it's definitely worth it. If you can't make it, they say if you can make it in New York or LA, you can make it anywhere.
I was going to say, going back to your sports days, it's one thing to beat up on the shitty team, but if you can win against the really good team, that feels extra good. And it feels like that's what it is to be a restaurateur in LA.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, like I said, it's the best place to be able to be successful.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about this. You got a million irons in the fire. What's next for you?
Well, it's Irv's Burger's 80th birthday. Irv's Burgers was one of the first roadside burger stands on Route 66. And on August 26th, which is next week, we are selling 80-cent burgers. We're also at all the stores. We're also giving 80 prizes away. Free burgers for a year, all sorts of different gifts and merch, stickers and pins. And we are celebrating one of the legendary all-time burger joints. I call it the Rocky Balboa of burgers, because we never give up. You can't put us down. We'll always come back up punching. And it's the burger, you know, that will never die. And it's you know, I'm so happy to be a part of it. I'm so happy that myself and my partner Brad Slater, who's basically my champion of Irv's Burgers, who helped me revive it. We did it, and we're excited to expand that business, you know, across America as well. So 80-cent burgers, August 26th, next Wednesday.
Happy 80th to Irv's. You heard it. Next Wednesday, you've only got one place to be, Irv's. Well, Lawrence, you've been so generous with your time, man, and you're so generous in general. You hosted my Pizza Run Club, which was awesome. Really appreciate you for doing that. Really, really awesome everything you're doing in Los Angeles and beyond. Last question we ask all our guests. What are 3 LA restaurants you're loving right now?
Okay. I love Lorenzo's sandwiches.
Oh, yeah, in Beverly Hills. Yeah.
In Beverly Hills. Have you not been?
I have. My mind just like short circuited when he said Lorenzo's. I was picturing this like old school Italian deli. I was like, I have not been there, but yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Fantastic sandwiches.
Fantastic. The box chicken. And Lake Coop.
Okay, fried chicken is your jam, it seems.
It's something I'm sniffing around, we'll say. And Tenderfest is around the corner, September 19th.
Yeah.
The world's best chicken tender festival at the Wallace Annenberg Center for Performing Arts. We're taking that on tour. It's in LA and Chicago this year. So I got my kick on those are good. Lorenzo, The Box, which is a ghost kitchen, and Lake Coop.
I love it. Lawrence, as I said, thank you for making time for us, brother. Really appreciate you.
Anytime. I hope I'm valuable to somebody listening.
I am sure you will be. More so than me and my co-host usually just chopping it up about bullshit. I'll tell you that for free. Thanks for listening to another episode of the LA Food Podcast. Thanks to our guests, Lawrence Longo and Alex Koons, for making the time for us. If you like what you heard here today, dear listener, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a rating, a review. Seriously, all that stuff really helps us make our way up the charts on Spotify, Apple, and all other platforms. We'll be back next week with another epic episode, but if you're looking for me in the meantime, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, even our website at the LA Countdown. That's TheLaCountdown. You can also find us at It's Acquired Taste on Instagram and at acquiredtastemedia.com.